name's Linda Porter, and I am the founder of the HET, Holistic Educational Therapy Programme. Now, my career has spanned 30 years as an educationalist, psychologist and a therapist in working with young people, their families, their professional support workers, helping these young people with extreme and challenging behavioural problems. Over this time, I have researched and evaluated a lot of alternative approaches to dealing with these kinds of behaviours, and have extensively written about these kind of ways that we can avoid taking damaging medication, and I've produced this as a programme and a step-by-step approach. Now, throughout these years of research and evaluation, I have come across a very sinister agenda that has arisen in society today, and if this agenda is not addressed, then not only do we have a generation of young people who are in total crisis, but we've got very little in the way of a positive future for these young people to look forward to. Now, over the course of developing HET, I've encountered lots of different types of situations. Some families have young people and they say to me they don't want their children to get better. They don't want them to be put right because they could lose their disability living allowance and they live on the breadline, and that's not an easy thing to give up when you're on the poverty line. Some families have even deliberately fed their children things like energy drinks and numerous additives just to wind them up and hype them up for their medical assessments in order that they get prescribed more medication and can access even more benefits. On the other hand, I've seen some families who are totally desperate for help for their children, and they don't want their children on this kind of medication downward spiral. But the schools themselves have said that the young people are not allowed into school unless they're on this type of medication. I've also known schools who have excluded young people from attending in order to access extra funding for them. Again, on the other hand, other schools and behavioural units have wanted to initiate natural programmes to avoid going down this route, but they've had their budgets pulled and not been able to run them. I've had occasion to meet social workers who have told foster parents to get their young people off natural remedies and natural approaches in order that they can go on medication and be quietened down so that that social worker can move the case on, meeting targets, getting other placements, reducing their caseloads and so on. I've known doctors prescribe some very, very controversial medication to children, even children under 5 years of age, I'm sad to say. I've researched some of the hedge funding investments that are now being made into the pharmaceutical projections of this kind of business being such a secure financial growth market with young people in the near future. I've heard the testimonials from young people themselves saying how ill taking this medication makes them. I've heard stories from representatives from pharmaceutical companies who incentivise doctors into prescribing these kinds of medications, and we've all seen the recent case of GlaxoSmithKline, who've been fined $3 billion for doing these very things. Over my career, I've seen something arise which has now become a childhood epidemic, and it's really turned out to be systematic child abuse. We all need to stand up against this now. We all need to speak the truth about what's happening to our young people. And if you don't believe me, then please, please read this story. Stand up and speak your truth about these young people. You won't have to look too hard to find them. 1 in 5 children globally are in this situation today. Thank you for your time. I know that there are going to be a lot of people on hearing this are going to want to find out some answers to some questions that they have. For those of you who are seeking the alternative, please refer to my latest book, which is now available on Amazon Kindle, How to Manage Children's Behavioural Problems Through the HET Journey by Linda Porter. At least it's a starting place, and it'll take you onto a step-by-step programme where you can look at eliminating some of the real reasons why children are behaving this way today.